be able to topple, to take down.
WE has been the most consistent team in the LPL, almost always putting up excellent results. And when we see them really trying, really putting in 110%, it is something to be feared, as we saw in game number 1 and game number 2, even in game number 3, despite being taken off guard as the crowd chants for the two teams. Massive shout out for both of them.
Now, this is going to be pretty key. I wonder, like, because of course they have a lot of pick. So sending in Thresh, maybe even Cocoon on Elise, but you never want to start Cocoon. That'd just be awful.
Looking to
SMLZ.
go for an evade, rotate around onto SMLZ, and they've caught him. 5 members, he flashes, dashes away, Ben, flash.
Got him!
Pulls him back in, hook, line, and sinker. This man is going down.
Key pickup here. Level 1 obviously was going to be a big point for WE because of how much pick potential they had. Really good from Ben to... He recognized he was going to get that pick because when the flash was gone, the dash on SMLZ was already been used, and he's in a very controlled point in that jungle. So that was going to hit. He started out with Cook, a small price to pay for a big gold game.
But that is now red buff for both Kandi and World 6 as they look to engage in some vertical jungling, swapping their sides of the jungle. And already we can see some punishment as a great hook lands onto 5, just trying to get that Nami low, force her to burn through her mana very early on, as she will be able to sustain as this lane drags on. And yeah, there we can see Kandi doesn't even take, he does actually finish off the Raptor camp before heading into the jungle, his own side of the jungle, and World 6 looks to do the same on the other side, but Ben and Mystic are just trying to run the lane here.
What's good to see here, it's immediately from the mid lane. Now, Karma was channeling him back. Remember, she has a kill now. She has a kill just based off that level 1. She's trying to find a key point where she can get a back advantage to get a second orange ring and maybe a few more potions. That is really bad for Icon because this lane was already difficult enough. So now he's going up against a poor matchup with a kill on Xie already well enough ahead. If I'm Kandi, give this person some space so they can get that item lead back in the lane. It'll be a tough road for Icon.
Certainly will. Again, you can see Mystic and Ben saying, hey, you guys camped this bottom lane. Sorry, but now we're going to do the same thing to you. It seems like for every time OMG have thrown a punch, WE have answered back with a punch of their own.
Yeah, and this is going to be definitely, it's a lot different than last game because the push advantage is in WE's favor in the bottom lane. It's in their favor in the mid lane. Kandi is now pressing up into the jungle, gets a bit of a shallow ward in because he's going in alone. So World 6 has to watch out because if he gets caught out in his vision, then immediately Kandi will have a proper decision into going to the bottom side of the map. There's a lot of pick potential here in WE.
Big Bubble lands on the Mystic. There's the hook and a lantern behind it. Kandi gets in. Can he land the cocoon? And Thunderlords is not enough. Even with red buff burning down, 5 single-digit health is allowed to live, but only just.
And it was just because of the fact that he popped that potion that he survived.
Here they go. They've got the Elise once again. Kandi trying to get some damage onto the turret. World 6 is waiting just behind them. He's pretty far away. If they go in, now they spot him out. The bubble catches Ben, taking just a little bit of damage. World 6 will get some more trade on the back. He finds Mystic, burning him down. That's Flash. No heal either, and Teleport is even being used by Icon to join up with his team. It's completed, whereas Xie, he got his back. That's a very early Divine Chalice and return towards mid.
So this is going to be great for CA, the fact that LeBlanc got absolutely nothing in this bottom lane. He's going to be able to come and get that shove back mid in an item advantage that he has, so Icon can't use that time. He's already backed, but that means it gives a lot of time and experience for Xie to push out this wave. So, at the very least, OMG stopped the pressure coming forward from WE, but at a high price.
Absolutely very high cost, but they do stop that pressure, force the recall out of Mystic. You can see the Cull first, so he's going to go for the long laning phase. Icon in the mid lane, you can see down a single minion wave as he makes his way back with an Amp Tome and a Doran's Ring. Luckily, Cannon will mean that he doesn't miss too much, and Ben, with his own early recall, is going to follow Kandi into the jungle of World 6 to look for a bunch of vision, to keep an eye on that Lee Sin.
This is what we've seen from WE's jungle support synergy time and time again in the regular season. I would say the best in the LPL where they move with each other so often. And it's a Thresh too, so being able to take control of the movement between mid and bottom lane makes it much harder for Icon to really start to roam outwards when he doesn't even know where the vision is. He doesn't know where Elise is, or Ben. Ben's hidden. He could be anywhere at this point in time.
With that very terrifying knowledge, you can see very safe setup as Ben and Condi
They didn't see him.
sneak around the vision. They're on the other side of that ward as they creep forward. Now they've finally been spotted. 5 is trying to escort SMLZ back. He still has no flash. Lantern, Bubble catches 5. He's tanking turret aggro. Teleport as well. But this dive is started and canceled. Chie will try to use his teleport, but will not succeed.
Yeah, we got flashes here from WE to see if they can get over that bubble and get a pick off of SMLZ. It's very difficult because, of course, he is on that Lucian. They all miss. If it had hit, then they would have turned into an immediate dive. Thankfully, of course, OMG is safe. And that's just TP off of Sia.
And that's how aggressive W are playing this bottom lane. Almost an exact mirror of what we saw in game number 1, but out of OMG. And we're seeing 957 put pressure onto Xiang. He's finally level 6, so he's got Stand United. And this bottom tier 1 turret is chunked down to about a third of its health, and they continually slowly whittle down away. The next few waves, it will lose that fortification. It'll lose that extra defensive bonus. So OMG try to make a play across the mid lane. Stand United, both chains miss. As teleport is started and canceled by 957. They try to make a play, and it does not succeed.
So that's TP down from every single member on the map, and everyone's resetting. So 957 is going to be a little happier about that. He canceled his TP. Meanwhile, you can't do that with Xiang, Shen ulti. So he's going to give an immediate push. I wonder what he's going to do with that, because he could just move into the enemy jungle and look to pick up one ward. He doesn't have a trinket, so that's why he's just sitting in the lane.
Yeah, Condi is going to clear out red buff on the invade right now. Again, supported by that super aggressive bottom lane, by the presence that he's got from Xie in the mid lane, who's now a full level ahead of Icon because of that experience advantage. They show up bottom, and are spotted as the ward expires. There's the Lantern. Condi gets pulled up. SMLZ has flash,
got
but
him.
is still caught by the hook. They've got so much crowd control, and they managed to kill him. They've even brought Xie down there. Now this tier 1 turret is finally, that expiration date is coming up.
Yeah, if at first you don't succeed, my friends, you keep trying. And WE just unrelenting. They keep bringing in members, of course. They keep clearing out wards near this. So SMLZ at some point was going to die. Now 2 deaths to his name. The level 1 and at this exact moment.
Yeah, though they will decide to back away instead. Condi goes back to his jungle, and that's a recall out of Mystic. So the turret is still alive, but the expiration date still very close, depending on time. With that recall, we now see Vamp Scepter out of Mystic as he makes his way back. Another recall from 957 is the Finnish Spectre's Cowl. And it's so excellent to see WE come here into game number 4 playing so brutally against OMG. They are not taking any chances in this series. They have a 2-game advantage, 2-1 in this series. But now they are just going so hard that this is what we want to see from them.
Yeah, and you can see what the change was immediately just based off pick ban alone, that they have immediately pushing lanes, and mid lane's a lot easier for Xie. So that was a major change from them. We see time and time again where WE just gets that one game in the series where like we're gonna test this one out. Now finally it looks like they're in prime position to push the lead forward. SMLZ did bring Warlords. They didn't mention that earlier on. He has Warlords on top of the extra lifesteal, so he's just trying to survive the poke that he's constantly been having to deal with. Now it's making it a lot harder because of the death that he's been constantly being put, finding himself in. It's not really working out.
And even the vision from WM on the bottom side of the map, they continue to prioritize it time and time again. 957 is pulled down towards mid. He'll be spotted out by a control ward if he goes any deeper. But Icon playing nice and safe on that huge LeBlanc carry, matching the CS of Xie despite being at a kill deficit. Sonic Wave from World 6. They think they're the ones setting it, but now Icon sees Condi, tags him with the snare, and is going to trade jungler for jungler. Now Xie trades it over. There's no follow-up from anywhere else. Xiang has got Stand United, but both top laners have teleport. Icon trying to match the damage of this Athens on Karma. The auto attack follows through, and Icon with 7 health survives.
Yeah, Deathfire touch was
and the arrow misses.
But he remains alive, just popping the potion himself. So, yeah, you saw what the play was happening. Jungler for jungler trade. Xie is much stronger than Icon at this point, able to output much more consistent damage. So he was close to getting that kill, and it was close to being a 2-for-1. But it's just a trade. It's not going to be too bad for OMG.
Now bottom. You can see with the Bilgewater Cutlass finally finished for SMLZ. He feels a little bit better trading into Mystic with that Vamp Scepter. But Condi, man, this guy is living bottom. World 6, though, is making his way down there. Lee Sin versus Elise. There's the Lantern. Dark Passage is going to get Condi in there. Sonic Wave to zone it away. That's a lot of teleports. GA shows up first. They're managing to get Icon, and it is a full 5v5 in the bottom lane. Knockup is a massive as SMLZ is still alive. Walking out in the back. Icon split from his team gets pulled in. Finally, he will die as Mystic and Icon give their lives. Flash from Xion.
Oh, they got
Cocoon
him.
to follow it up. They've got so much damage. They've got so much crowd control. They play him back in once again. It's 2 for 1 in the extended fight.
That was really close, and World 6 was very close to being able to get a kick for himself, but got immediately cocooned, stunned down, along with the Shen ulti on top of him. So WE, it could have been much worse for them, but they back away, they disengage and re-engage on the fight, and get the tower on top of it.
This is a massive advantage now that that first tier 1 has been taken. Tragically, none of the gold's on Mystic, but WE are still showing up strong. Here's that extended engage.
Yeah, Mystic didn't have ulti because he used it a little earlier on. Condi was in a real worrying position. He knew the bubble was coming. He couldn't avoid it, so he put out the cocoon, and World 6 felt a little bit of the pain. The only worry was that Icon was fairly low, put himself in a proper position. SMLZ and Lee Sin were able to just get out of there scot-free, but they still found more picks going forward. They got LeBlanc, and they were able to get it on Xiang as well.
Flash cocoon to catch up to Xiang. And that was a massive play from Condi, landing the cocoon onto World 6 as he was looking to insect Condi into the fight. Well reading that play in advance. Good sidestep, but a lot of the damage has been chunked out onto Condi. He's brought down to half by that LeBlanc. She's finished her Gunblade, and is, the Revolver, and is starting to do some damage here.
Yeah, she's trying to be a little cheeky there, but she does have to watch out.
He's just dodging left, right, trying to keep 3 members occupied. He's got some support from 5, but it takes more than just Icon to win the game. They're down 2-5, 4,000 gold, and with the lane swap from Mystic matched by SMLZ, you know that WE will continue to press these turrets' advantage. Play the same game OMG played in game number 3 against them.
Oh, but WE, they sniffing blood here. Oh, they don't see him.
Yeah, he's just outside of vision, but they know that he's there. The arrow tags him. They're getting damage over the wall, but he hops over. So blue buff catches him. And that, blue buff is picked up by WE as the arrow catches World 6, but they continue to return towards those lanes. SMLZ is so much closer to his Blade of the Ruined King, to holding on to that top tier 1 and defending. And just take a look at the vision from WE on this side of the map.
Yeah, the reason it was all there is because OMG were back at base. They reset a lot of control while Icon was in mid, looking to just fend them all off. That means that that's a lot of control wards linked between mid lane and top lane. Mystic doesn't have ulti yet, but once he does have Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and plus, even if he doesn't, that's a lot of pick potential, but just about everybody on the team. So they can get an engage off. It doesn't have to be off of Ashe. So Icon, it's a difficult time for him because he needs to actually be able to leave this lane, but he's having a tough time dealing with Karma, and of course has no way to be able to confidently move away from that lane with how much control is around.
That first blood from Xie was so critical. You can see he's 20 CS up with blue buff, with the Athens Unholy Grail. Let's see if he decides to go for the Ardent Censer second to empower Mystic, or if he starts transitioning towards a more carry role on that Karma. SMLZ is pushing a wave forward, being so respectful of Ben, who with his Mobies is such a threat with these hooks. There's no follow-up from the rest of WE, but even so, you can see OMG are playing so defensive, bringing World 6 towards that side of the map. Now they're having Icon sort of cheat towards that side of the lane as well, as he leans over to support them if a skirmish were to break out. Xiang sitting so far back, so close to his turret, so that he could safely stand united if a fight were to break out.
Yeah, it's good from OMG just to be able to regain pressure topside, right? Because they know that Enchanted Crystal Arrow was down, and that WE had relieved pressure topside. So they were able to just make it a lot more comfortable for SMLZ, and so he wasn't going to be constantly feeding out. He's already 0-2. He doesn't want to be a 0-3 at this point in the game. And so now it's a little harder for WE to look towards topside. But that is Enchanted Crystal Arrow right back up. There's all the abilities to be able to go top. So that's Karma now moving along with the rest of the team.
Yeah, here comes the pick. They've got teleport available for 957. Condi gets in and drops a lot of vision. SMLZ will clear the rest of it out. but 4 members of OMG are up top. Recall from 957 is being completed. He's got teleport. The arrow misses, but the minion wave has crashed. That's a hook as well. They've still got a lot of poke if they can catch someone. World 6 eats a cocoon as Icon joins the fight, tags the ethereal chain just to scare them away.
If he can stick here, because SMLZ did get poked out just a little bit by the Karma Q. So right now they're in a tough spot. And that ward that was placed deep into the blue side jungle is a good TP
They're
ward.
continuing to choke out SMLZ with this damage. He's got to clear out the minions, but cannot afford to get close. You can see Xiong sitting back on that Stand United, but does not pull the trigger with that. WE will finally finish off the top tier 1. 2 turrets to 0 as Mystic will take that Lantern to safety, or just leave Ben to his own work as he finishes off the minion wave. Recall means Blade of the Ruined King is finished for SMLZ, and despite the cull start from Mystic, he's probably pretty close to finishing off his own Blade of the Ruined King, which is why we see him finishing off that minion wave.
Yeah, he should definitely have it now. So he's got a lot of gold in his pocket that he needs to spend. He was able to get that last wave, which should be a done deal right there. So that just means that he does get Blade of the Ruined King on top of the already finished much earlier on attack speed boots, Berserker's Greaves. That's the difference between SMLZ and his gold right now.
Finished recurve bow and those Berserker Greaves versus only the double daggers from SMLZ. Now Dragon was pinged a few times by WE. You can see they're moving Ashe and Ben down towards that bottom side of the map as they look for vision. They've got a Ruby Sightstone, not to mention the Tracker's Knife, double haunting guys from Xie and Kandi as they're looking to go big in this game. And things are looking a little scary for OMG as they find themselves very far behind. Icon's getting pushed out by the jungle and support of WE, who are just so mobile.
Ben is just thirsty. He's looking for these picks at all times.
I think he might feel insulted that they lost game number 3 with how aggressive he's playing. SMLZ now swaps towards the top, which means they're giving up pressure bottom. The minion wave is cleared, and SMLZ will eat a hook. 957 is so tanky, but he doesn't have a lot of armor, and with the Blade of the Ruined King, SMLZ is able to answer back. Meanwhile, WE used that knowledge to push down mid, again, threatening Icon away from his turret so they can break down the 3rd tier 1. Chains over the wall as Icon tries once again. He's got a flank from World 6, but there's no damage.
And Mystic is just around, looming for his ulti itself. He's got someone!
Yeah, that's the arrow. 5 is the target. Stand United to stall this out, but they've got way too much crowd control. He has died. Xiong dashes away, flashes over the wall, but brings the knockup. SMLZ tries to sidestep, but sidesteps into his doom, flashes back again, but will die to the follow-up from Xie as WE break down 3 members of OMG.
Disaster for OMG. SMLZ got popped up, and it was Xiong that the ulti was actually on top of. So now WE already going towards this tower.
Yeah, matching almost the pace from OMG in game number 1 as this tier 2 is broken off of a very successful pick. It's 3 versus 5. Icon will catch Kandi with a lot of damage. He pops up and is still alive. Icon does not find the assassination. He wanted it so bad.
Yeah, just barely. Just barely. Isn't able to get him.
You can see how he's hounding Team WE away. He's trying to carry, but here's the arrow. They catch 5.
5 was not going to be able to get out of there. He didn't have flash either, and he would put himself in that corridor. He's going to die. Xiong getting... This is how much control and how much poke and how much pick is coming off of WE. SMLZ gets knocked up. He's the next person to really get poked out because CA was able to get straight through World 6 to get the kill. So just one person after the next, they're just getting chased down due into part, of course, of Karma's speed boost. But also just because there's just too much CC on this damn team.
Yeah, and again, compared to game number 3 in which OMG ran this aggressive play against WE had the insurance of Kog'Maw and Vladimir. They had time. They had the ability to sit back and scale. SMLZ on Lucian is never going to do that much damage as a Kog'Maw. Icon, he's trying to look for these massive outplays, but he is only one man. Cloud Dragon's being picked up by WE, but OMG are just, they're hunting.
They're looking. But Mystic feels it. He feels that pressure. He feels the heat coming from that jungle.
Yeah, the hatred from OMG emanating from that side of the map. Plays it nice and safe, sticks towards his turrets.
Too much dark energy in that area. I'm going to move away.
Swaps over towards mid. World 6 starts his recall. Icon still giving a few pings. He's not communicating, though. There he goes.
Oh, he's sitting for it. They're actually looking for a flank position. They have their sights set on Mystic. Nah, they're just, all right, they're trolling.
Still thinking about it, but this is a lot of time invested just to kill the AD carry. Kandi shows up to lead the charge. He is not very tanky. They actually spot him clearing that out as they start their own recall. Sweeper, and he
Okay.
sidesteps one. Does he have enough time to sidestep another? The arrow comes out, but the collapse from WE as the play gets turned around. Condi dies, but Icon is knocked up and will die in answer. And now they find Xiong. He stands united in. He tried to teleport away and is punished for this. It is 10-3 for Team WE.
And that is the definition of a desperation play. So now WE, they've completely taken down OMG's
Baron has
top
just
and
spawned.
mid.
they are rushing towards it. And now they're not.
No, they don't have a
completely
jungler,
wrong.
friend. No, it's not happening. No Elise. They
Yeah.
could try, but it would be very risky with World 6 up. So they're going to cool it down a little bit.
Cool the Jets. They turn on to Xie. Bubble is going to miss. He's looking for the outplay. Is going to be knocked up, but dies now as World 6 follows through and gets that kill. Mystic eating some damage from SMLZ. Fires back onto 5. Doesn't quite have the arrow just yet as Sonic Wave lands. Flay is too late. SMLZ gets the kill, and OMG are winning the fight. They're the ones with the jungler up, though he is low health. That's a double kill as the bottom lane and mid laner from WE stagger in one by one and die.
The moment you count this team out, they were able to come back. 3 kills in their favor. Condi is up. And I know he's nicknamed Son of Baron, but this is going to be a hard one for him to steal.
OMG trying to get themselves back into the game. World 6 is still tanking this. You've got to let somebody else do it. As Xiong finally joins up with his team, the hook is flashed as 957 is flanking from the far side. Condi is spotted by Icon. The Son of Baron smells blood in the water, but 957 is doing work. Teleport from Xie, and OMG might have bit off too much more than they can chew. 1900 health. World 6 is so low, he goes in, and it's picked up by Xiong. The ensuing fight arrow is going to field goal between them, but Xie cleans it up. OMG have got the Baron, and they win the fight despite losing 2. They are still in this series.
Yeah, they're sure. You know what? They're behind in gold, but that is going to be able to pick it back up. OMG, they were able to take Baron off of it. And it was so weird for WE to lose 3 kills randomly, right? Just random off of mid. They were trying to help out Xie because he was a little outstretched, a little bit too far forward. And then it was just kill after kill. Someone was trying to save him. The Suns was trying to save Thresh.
It's that massive presence from OMG to be able to recognize Xie's out of position.
Yep.
He doesn't have flash because he used it to kill our LeBlanc just a few seconds ago. We've got crowd control. We can herd him into a corner. And then the rest of the team, as you said, they staggered in one by one for easy kills. And OMG, every time you count them out, they're able to come back. This team is like game talents gone Super Saiyan. This is excellent to see OMG sort of grow like this with this focus. It is so hard to maintain perseverance in a best of 5, yet they continue to keep their vision clear. Look for picks, rotate around the map, make sure we kill the priority targets from WE. And though they have been losing objectives, they are still in this game.
Yeah, and that's really key to say because getting that Baron, what would that mean for them, right? They can really stop the pressure coming through because they've been losing tower after tower and been completely pushed forward. Now, the reason why these kills are just going for WE is because, of course, once that one person gets picked off of like a Thresh hook, right, or an Ashe arrow, it really does snowball. So OMG, they haven't faced a composition like this throughout the entirety of the split.
Yeah.
And so there would be times where like, okay, we can double down and look to save this person or look to contest this fight and then back away. Disengage. But the disengage is so hard for them because there's just skill shots flying at them. So now that they're able to get this Baron that can push forward and maybe they can take a team fight going forward because SMLZ, Lucian, even though there are some 80 carries that you can look towards and say that you can carry on just off your sheer mechanics alone. And Lucian is a clear pick for him that he can do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on SMLZ's performance and see if he can pull it together. Obviously, again, in game number 3, he was the tool that was rotated around the map by OMG to take turrets, to take that early advantage. He was doing headshots for crazy, and we saw how they were able to play around him. And again, we're seeing Icon playing up. He looks like he might be a little bit shaken by the best of 5, but in-game, his play more than makes up for how he looks outside of game. He has been trying to harass as much as possible, stall this time so that SMLZ can do damage. And when OMG find the opportunities, they're not hesitating to take it, even though they are sometimes getting a little overzealous. For example, World 6 and Icon sitting just outside of vision, looking for Mystic for what, like a good minute and a half?
Yeah, but they couldn't really find a position or at least a time to kind of pull the trigger. So it's nice to see them try for those plays, right? That's something that OMG has done. They've come back in a lot of cases in the regular season just based off of the fact that even though they lose it off of some random play, they will always try to dig themselves back into a fight just off skirmishes, off fights alone. So that's nice to see from from that team. Problem is now going up against WE. Sure, you're able to take Baron for yourself, but that doesn't take away the sheer threat from this team.
Yeah.
The sheer comeback in terms of the amount of picks they can look for if OMG tried to push forward with the Baron buff that they do have.
And the huge burst damage we're seeing as well. I think Shia with his build was going for a Luden's Echo second. Or no, excuse me, he was going for the Leandri's Torment. Then I think he had another needlessly large rod. So he is going straight damage on this Karma. And we've seen what happens when Karma can really start popping off. So looking forward to the rest of this matchup. OMG, we've seen them come back from a best-of-5 like this again. If they win this game, they go to game number 5. Does WE start worrying then? Or
I mean,
you can see how serious they're taking this game right here. That would be a huge upset if OMG were to even bring it to game 5.
Yeah, they were probably worried in game 3 when they were just so far behind against a team that they've defeated 2-0 convincingly in week 7, right? This is should not be a competition for them. Now, it should be because OMG's demanded respect. They've gotten to a point where they're second place, but WE is trying to prove that they're not just in the top 3 of EDG, RNG, and WE, that they are clear-cut best because only one team can go from China to Rio and for MSI.
Yeah. And again, this would be a massive tragedy for Team WE. They are expected to move on to finals. They are very clearly the favorites in this matchup. And that being said, though, WE has never gone to an LPL finals.
Yeah.
They have never placed higher than third since the LPL. And with that sort of knowledge, they're up against OMG. This is supposed to be the easy side of the bracket. And if they lose, that would be a massive disappointment for fans.
It would be. And the players, and maybe they're feeling that pressure a little bit from just the organizational standpoint.
Yeah.
But the organization, they know how much it means for them. Ever since EDG kind of broke off, not even kind of, they just definitely broke off a lot of the prime players.
All those years ago.
And WE, they've been struggling because there were one point where they were at 8th place. They were really on the bottom end of the LPL. And then they finally picked it up. This is like for, I would say, about a year now. They've been improving just time and time again, slowly getting better, building themselves up to a point now where they should be the first place. They should be second place in this play.
As you said, this is one of the best performances we've seen out of WE in very, very long time. The fact that they have this massive lineup, 957, Kandi, Shie, they are the most consistent team during the regular season. Of course, like any LPL team, they do have a few moments where they drop games for very confusing reasons. 957 had a bit of a weak performance in week 9 and week 10. Kandi looked like he was having a bit of difficulty as well. But then you contrast that with when we see him on his Rengar, when he's popping off and single-handedly carrying games. This team should win this best of 5. But now we're looking at OMG actually running the gauntlet, actually running this full game out. And WE are time and time from here and there falling short as there appears to be a team fight going on. There's chaos on the screen. Baron has long since fallen off, and SMLZ is picking up a kill. But it's currently 3 versus 1 with 5. 21-13. That inhibitor is still up, but WE are chasing forward. They've already taken the middle inhibitor. Ladies and gentlemen, this game could be over right here and right now as they win the fight. WE, we were just setting the story, and now you're going to end it. Mystic and 957 are there. There's not enough time for Icon to get back up. World 6 is almost there as well. Exhaust on the Mystic. Super minions on the Nexus turrets. They are trying to play it out, but 5 with the hero
World
defense
6 is up.
buys time for World 6, and now the Nexus itself is bare. But OMG, we come back at one hell of a time.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, and I think everybody out there is putting up a few question marks, but I think WE found the respect to that.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be seeing a replay, but good God, what happened, WE?
We just had a smash cut to an apocalypse scenario for OMG. I mean, camera pan and look back and everything is on fire.
I'll tell you right now, I was looking at those white picket fences. I was like, all right, I can get behind this dream, and suddenly nuclear warfare. I was like, oh, I didn't know that we were in this timeline. All right, good job, WE, I guess.
Yeah, this is the darkest timeline for Team OMG. SMLZ, you can see he's doing damage. Finished his Quicksilver, has 2 more items, the Black Fever and Phantom Dancer. But running through the stock of the other items, it's matched on the other side by Mystic. He's ahead by a BF Sword. Both of the AP carries are absolutely massive. All the tanks are as well. And World 6, thank goodness you've got a Banshees, but you're going to have to get away from Ben, who's leading the charge.
Oh, no.
And the arrow tags him. He's got no flash. There's Cocoon. Icon gets in front to try to save his jungler, but World 6 is dead. Baron is on the map, and it's 5 versus 4.
Yeah, 5 versus 4, and that inhib is already down, but they're marching down this lane. Inhibs are down. Nexus turrets are down.
The Answer marching one by one, and WE are leading the charge. Xiong tries to stall it out, buying time for SMLZ. He's trying to kill 957, but does no damage to him. Ben eats a big hit. This SMLZ is firing across, but gets flayed back. His tank line is gone. His
SMLZ 's
support
down.
is gone. His jungler is gone. His chances are trying to slowly dwindling. Mystic is firing onto Xiong. It's all up to Icon. It's doing